What is up, everyone, and welcome back to a new pick a card reading. It's been a while, to say the least. I've been hyper focusing on the Tarot Masterclass that I've been so desperately wanting to release for you guys for the last couple of years, and a lot of things happened in my life in between that kept delaying that release. And honestly, you guys, this week it's like I felt like I had to take a break from it all. Otherwise I was going to go crazy. I fell so deep into like doing this one thing that I felt the need to balance it out by spending some time with you guys and just chilling, pulling your cards and having a good time. But you know what's interesting too is that during this journey of building my first professional tarot class, I've learned to actually discover that I liked teaching a lot more than I thought I would, which is a pretty exciting new thing for me that I'm sort of discovering about myself. Oh, and also I just released some new spellcasting professional services. It's right there on my website if you guys want to check it out and maybe book a private spell work with me. This video is sponsored by me, by the way. I'm a solo worker. I'm doing everything on my own. And so it really encourages me when you guys just slide that like button, yeah, give me a subscribe, or just go a step further and book a reading with me. I've also been busy lately, really planning for my trip to Europe and preparing everything for the ritual and the seance that I will lead for Witch Camp in Denmark, which is such a huge milestone for me and something I'm looking forward to because it's been a dream of mine to be able to travel for my career. So that's another thing. Anyway, how are you guys? Enough about me. I didn't even know where to start again, which is why after sort of like consulting my spirit team about this, I just decided to go with a random mystery reading today, a mystery pick a card for you guys, just to kind of find back the flow and also to do a reading that would reach more different kinds of people. So that's pretty much all that there is to it. So if you guys are ready, let's go on ahead and let's go to the pile selection. So now you guys, in a few moments, you will be presented with a different selection of decks. And all that you have to do is take this moment of meditation to really recenter, to really ground yourself and ask your spirit team which one of these groups has a message for you. And once that choice is done, head down into the description box down below and you will find there the timestamps associated with your group. And it is there that I shall meet you on your reading. Ta-ta! Hello, Pile 1, and welcome to your mystery reading tonight. So how this is going to work is that I'm going to start by pulling some random fortunes here for you just to warm up, you know, just a little appetizer before we get started. And then I'll pull some cards here. I'll pull a card actually from this oracle deck, my Gypsy Oracle, to determine the subject of your reading. And then I'll also pull a major arcana in order to kind of get an energy check of where that team sort of wants to go in your life. And then after that, we'll read more cards. And I will really improvise here. Like, I have my collection of decks right next to me. So I feel like for when it comes to Oracle decks, if I feel the need to pull from any one of them, I'll just do so. I'll just do so for you guys. So if you guys are ready, let's start with your Zoltar cards. Spirit, connect me to the energy of Pawan and share with me the fortune that you have for them today. Okay, we have one here. I'll just take the top and I'll keep shuffling for another one. What is another piece of fortune that you have for Pawan? And we have another one here. Okay, so let me read those for you guys. So we have Ha, you have been granted the card of the elephant. The great ancients have said that the elephant is a symbol of strength, stability, power, and wisdom. This is not to say that such things are only received by a medium as grand as the elephant. This month, wisdom will be delivered to you by the unexpected. Seek wisdom wherever you go, and remember that a person who does not know one thing knows another. Okay, interesting. And it says here your lucky numbers 20, 36, 2, 18, 10, and 15. And here, as another piece of your fortune, you guys, we have a wise old owl sat on an oak. The more he sat, the less he spoke. The less he spoke, the more he heard. Why can't you be like that wise old bird? Yes, my friend, your greatest fault is that you talk too much. Okay, Zoltar, just that slap in the face. Just being like one of those spicy TikTok readers over here. Learn to keep a secret. However, your other golden qualities make up for your talkativeness. Okay, your anxiety to help others and your consideration of other people's wishes have earned you many friends. And it says your lucky number 1, 10, 7, 9, 23, and 2. Okay, so we'll move to the theme of your reading right now. And if anything else comes through that seems in a connection or relationship with those cards, I'll definitely point that out for you guys. Spirit, connect me to Pawan and share with me, what should I know today? What is the theme of this reading that you want for them? What is the theme of Pawan's reading? Spirit. Okay, we have conversation. Super interesting. Super interesting, you guys, because this card in your second fortune here was sort of talking about like chatter, like too much talking and maybe not enough sort of like embodying or something like that. Maybe chatter going on around you. If this is not you guys necessarily, maybe that this is you guys wondering, some of you guys wondering if you should talk to someone about something. Maybe there's definitely an upcoming conversation here. This could be even like gossips. So I feel like this is the energy behind your reading today, you guys. It's kind of like that chatter, gossip, maybe an upcoming conversation that could turn the table for you or sort of like bring a surprising twist of events. Maybe. And it's interesting too, because this elephant card was sort of talking to you about being like listening more, maybe listening to the wisdom that is coming, sort of like a wise card, if you will. Interesting. So let's get like some sort of like energy check maybe behind that like conversation card where it's sort of aiming at in your life. Clarify this conversation card for me, please, Spirit. Where does that target in Pawan's life? We have judgment. Interesting. Because judgment is usually the card of higher callings, spirit trying to make us aware of something. This could be an upcoming conversation that somebody wants to kickstart with you guys. This could be upcoming news that you hear from somebody. So let's jump into that, okay? Let's jump into any sort of upcoming news, any sort of like chatter happening around you that spirit needs you to be aware of right now, that might be upcoming, that might be happening right now as well. And maybe that you guys are unaware of it, or maybe that you're aware of it, but it's like you're suspecting it and you're not sure. Maybe you want a confirmation on that. So let's see. Spirit, what's the gossip or news upcoming that is circulating around pile 1 right now. We have Wheel of Fortune. It's so funny because as I was setting my table for this reading, like right now, the Wheel of Fortune is a card that came up to my mind. So I sort of knew that today there was going to be a pile where maybe this card was going to appear, or maybe that this card is meant to appear a lot because I haven't done other readings yet. I feel like there's just like big shifts and big changes coming up for someone in here for sure. But Wheel of Fortune is there for you guys. And we have here the 3 of Pentacles. What else, Spirit? What big news is coming through? What important conversation is meant to happen next? We have the 8 of Pentacles. This definitely is targeting either you guys' work, you guys' business ventures, your associations here, sort of your collaborative projects with other people as well. If this is not necessarily work related, this could even be like living situation, like something happening in between you and sort of like your roommates, let's say. Like, let's say that you and your roommates have some sort of agreement together. It could be that too. 3 of Pentacles is any sort of like people that you're associated with for some reason. There's shared assets here. There's a shared project, or there is a shared goal with these people. And 8 of Pentacles, it feels like that. It feels like it could surround definitely your work or some sort of like upcoming project. I feel like some people want to work with you. Pile 1. We have the Knight of Pentacles reverse. Yeah, there's some people around you that are definitely talking about enlisting you or collaborating with you. And I feel like the message here today that Spirit wants to talk about with you is that I feel like you're in an era of like people and associations and sort of like who you decide to sign any sort of like contracts with, or any sort of person that you could decide to align with or work at something with. I feel like there's a lot of fortune sort of activating behind that with this Wheel of Fortune here. I feel like you guys, the upcoming news, the upcoming conversation here is that you're doing a great job somewhere. And I feel like people are taking notice. They're taking notice of like all of the attention to details that you're putting into something, all of the work ethics also that you sort of have. I feel like people notice sort of like your potential somewhere, and they really see you going far with something that you're working on, or some sort of vision that you have, or with your talents and your skills. And I feel like it's just a very fortunate moment for that. And the chatter happening here feels positive. It's so funny because as soon as I saw this conversation card, I was almost like, okay, maybe there's something serious there. Maybe that it feels like I need to get this person to sit down with me because there's something that I need to tell them, you know? And for some of you guys here on this pile today, this could definitely be some sort of like positive return too on a job offer that you've been eyeing, or that there's been like competition into for when it comes to like getting this job, maybe with a Knight of Pentacles reverse. Like maybe that you've been like, let's say for example, that there's this job that you've really, really, really wanted to get in, and it's like you applied for it, but then there was like this series of like evaluation or tests that you needed to go through, or maybe that the interview was sort of split into like this trial phase. Let's say maybe that there was like someone else after the same job as you. And I feel like this could be like positive news returning in that sense. Like, I feel like you guys will be chosen here for something, to collaborate on something here. And for my creatives, my artists, my business people that are sort of like working for themselves, that have been like really focused on their work, and it's been sort of like a solitary confinement thing, almost like working with their crafts, sort of like really developing their skills somewhere with the Eight of Pentacles. Because oftentimes the Eight of Pentacles, what I tend to find is that this is someone that had to like distance themselves from society for quite some time in order to really focus on what they needed to get done. Or it's like this person really needed to like bring up the top guns, and it's like they had bigger fish to fry, and they really wanted to advance or progress in this thing. And so that is why they sort of made a choice to pull away from other projects, other plans, so like really focus hardcore on that goal that they have. And next to the Three of Pentacles, it just makes me think of that. It makes me think of like, Pile One, like I feel like very called to tell you, like, be ready for like the sponsors or collaborators or people that want to like, I don't know, reach out to you for a very custom project, or to like invite you on their podcast, right? Or just like people just inviting you to like participate in very like out of ordinary, lucky sort of types of opportunities. And there's something very fated behind that with this Wheel of Fortune next to this Three of Pentacles. Like, Wheel of Fortune is sort of like it's not even synchronistic. Like, how can I say that? It's almost karmic. It's almost like spirit brings like the right people across your path at the right time. And it's like you guys are meeting in the right room, and, you know, are at this same phase of life where you're all sort of starting over. You're all on a similar chapter in your life where it's like it's really convenient to start working on this thing together, or to start like, you know, sort of like getting more serious about those plans maybe that you have with other people. And I just feel like other people and their offers and how they sort of want to bring you to tag along with them, or the fact that they want to bring a light towards you, and that they want to sort of help your work get a knowledge here. It's almost like this will help like unlock doors for you, Pile One. Like, Wheel of Fortune feels like that. It feels like the wheel is finally turning for you and opportunities start flowing in. And it's like finally there's people around you that are starting to notice you. For some of you too, I just feel like a better work environment coming in through, where it's just like you feel so part of something important and significant here. And it feels good to not be the only one working on your own or the only one caring anymore. And it's just like you're in a good, healthy, supportive environment that just wants to help you flourish in your work again and in your projects. So know that there are big shifts, big changes about to hit you guys for when it comes to this, for when it comes to work and any sort of skill set that you guys have been really focusing on lately. And there is someone here that wants to reach out to you. I really feel that. Like, I really feel that there's an important sort of like conversation happening where you're going to sit at some table with some other people that want to seriously book or lock in some sort of contract with you. And it feels serious. It feels kind of like long term as well, because Three of Pentacles, it's like that. It's not just like a one-time thing to where like it ends. Or maybe it's a one-time thing too, like again, like an invitation to where like, hey, I want to interview you for this, I'm really interested in what you're doing, so come on in and we'll live that experience together. But then next thing you know, following that offer might also connect you to the next person or to the next thing, because then there's someone listening to that interview and really catching attention on what you're doing, and then this person like comes in with their other offer. So it's just like the wheel is engaged, right? And it feels really, really positive in that sense. I feel like pulling in some career life messages for you guys, because this definitely feels geared at that, like at your work, at your skill sets. It could even be a talent that you guys have, because the Pentacle suit is really about that. It's about like recycling our talent in a way where we contribute inside of the world, and we see those talents or those skills return back to us in the form of like material blessings. So it really, really feels like a good era for you guys for when it comes to that. Spirit, connect me to Pawan and share with me any other messages you have surrounding their career. We have wealth. Not really surprising, because that's totally this Wheel of Fortune. Then this Three of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, like Pentacle suit is about wealth building. I just feel like there are golden opportunities coming in towards you guys. And it's coming in through other people that are either like connected to your field and that really connect with what you do or see what you do. And it's almost like, oh my God, I feel like this person is going to go really far, and I almost want to get on board with that person, or I want them to be the next hot thing. It's almost like so other people sort of believe in you here, which is wholesome, which is awesome. Like, I'm really, really happy for you guys. I'm really proud of you guys, because it feels like a long road here. Like Eight of Pentacles, it feels like you guys have been focusing on this and have been dedicated to this and have made so much sacrifices for this to work. Even the Knight of Pentacles reverse tells me that here, because Knight of Pentacles is usually really someone that is into those sacrifices, and they are into what they're doing for the long run. So it's almost like they're very patient and they're taking those little steps every day. It's almost like Virgo energy, the Knight of Pentacles. Every time that I see this card, it's really about like showing up in the daily, and like those hours that I put after work inside of that project or inside of this thing I'm working on, it's like accumulated. All of those little hours here and there every week, it accumulates to like a couple hours every month. And at the end of the year, it's almost like it's a lot. It's a lot of accumulated work here. But also with the Knight of Pentacles reverse, it shows me like that this has been uncomfortable for you guys, in the sense that it's like, some people get to launch certain things or work on certain things and have like the financial stability or security behind them, to where it's like, it makes it easier, right? It makes the journey so much more easier. Or maybe that they have the space, or maybe that they have the tools, the equipment, maybe that they have more time than you even. So it creates less resistance for what they're trying to bring forth inside of their life. And Knight of Pentacles reverse really makes me think of like you guys having had like some sort of like circumstance that was like almost working against you or playing against you. And so it's like you guys started the race a little further behind the line compared to like everyone else. So you had like a set of challenges as well that you needed to deal with while you were trying to build this thing that you're sort of working on. And it made this journey sort of uncomfortable for you again. And it's almost like you were wondering when things would finally unlock, and when you would get the funds or those like golden opportunities again with this card of wealth that would bring in the funds, that would bring in the means to be able to support all of the work that you want to pour in. Because I feel like you guys have really found something here, and you really want to dedicate to something more. You want to even upscale. You want to even like invest invest in that venue more, this avenue, I mean, with the Eight of Pentacles. But it's like a Knight of Pentacles reverse. It's almost like, well, I'm a bit like tight on finances right now. It's almost like my time is limited because I work full time, you know, each week. So it's almost like I've got to make that extra step. I've got to make that extra sacrifice to try to make this shit work. Like, sorry, excuse my French. And I really feel like it's been a long way home for you guys. Like, it's been a lot of sacrifices. It's been a lot of like, it's been a lot of like strategizing. It's been a lot of extra patience. And I feel that Spirit sees that in you. Like, it sees that, it knows that you guys had to really, really, really be patient. But things are finally progressing. Things are finally unlocking. Your wheel is finally like starting to turn in that sense. So it's almost like you guys were not blocked. It was just a question of time. It was just a question of commitment. It was a question of consistency. And by consistency, I don't mean like, you are very human, okay? Pawan, and as someone that is into business myself, I am a living proof of that. Like, for when it comes to consistency, I think it's a total bullshit to expect of ourselves and to think that the key to success is to be able to show up like every time 100% to the schedule that we set for ourselves. Like, for example, you know, there are some people that always say like, oh, to be successful, you have to do like this, like that many times a week. Let's say like you need to post on your social media like every day of the week or something like that, like just as an example. Okay. And it's almost like, no, you like that formula may work for some people out there, but not everyone is wired the same. And also it's like you won't have always the same energy. And also like things happen in our life. We cannot always like expect of ourselves to be like this strict with the regime, you know, that we feel is the key to success. Consistency is not about that. Consistency is about just not giving up. Like, literally just not giving up and doing what you can when you can. And, you know, making those bits that are harder to work through work for you. Like, to me, that's what consistency is about. It's about like dealing with myself every day, because I know that every day I will have a different mood. I will have like a different set of energy. I will have a different set of circumstances that I need to deal with. I don't know if it's because I'm a mutable person, but I feel like I'm meeting a different version of myself every other day. And I need to like get to know that person before I can deal with that person on that specific day. Like me, that's how I operate. So I know that like consistency is a very different thing to me than it is for like a lot of people. We have wish come true. Look at this, you guys. And here with this card of wealth, it says you are working towards real wealth and prosperity in your life. Yet that is this Eight of Pentacles and Knight of Pentacles reverse. Keep investing in yourself and look into long-term career planning. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Then we have give and take. Be open to giving and receiving. Yeah. Three of Pentacles, you guys. Give someone a chance and ask for what your heart desires. Oh my God, you guys. Give this person that is going to reach out to you next or very soon a chance, okay? Lend an ear towards them because it can really help unlock something beautiful in you guys' career, progress, or things that you're trying to develop in your life. You have wish come true here. Your wish is being granted, but it may not come in the way you expected. No worries. It is just what you need. Oh my God, you guys. Very excited for you. So I hope that this reading could maybe bring a little smile on your beautiful face. Thank you so very much for having spent the last 20 minutes with me in Sacred Space. I send you guys so much love. And if some of you have been interested in working with me on one-on-one, I do offer personal readings via my website and via Etsy. So the links towards all of that will be down below in my description box. If you have been wanting to book a more general blind reading, as we like to say, that is really more personal towards you. And otherwise, I hope that you will tune in for the next video. I send you so much love. Mwah. Bye bye, guys. Hello, Pal 2, and welcome to your mystery reading. So how this is going to work out today is that I'm going to start by pulling some random fortunes for you, just to get like some miscellaneous messages for you. And then I'll pull a card from my Gypsy Oracle deck for you, just to see what's the topic of your reading. And then I'll also pull a major arcana to narrow down sort of like the energy behind the theme of your reading. And after that, we'll just free flow from there and pull cards from there. So I don't really have like a rigid plan today. I just basically want to hang out with you and pull cards. So that's the goal here. And I have my collection of decks right next to me in my library. So if I feel pulled to like use another deck for you guys, I will just do so. So let's get started. If you guys are ready, let's start with your Zoltar cards. Spirit, connect me to Pal 2 and share with me any fortune that you have for them today. Any guidance, general fortune that you have for Pal 2's lives. What's the fortune for Pal 2? Okay, we have a card here. Really funny. Wow, this card came out for Pal 1, and here it is again for Pal 2. Very interesting, but it says here, a wise old owl sat on an oak. The more he sat, the less he spoke. The less he spoke, the more he heard. Why can't you be like the wise old bird? Yes, my friend, your greatest fault is that you talk too much. Learn to keep a secret. However, your other golden qualities make up for your talkativeness. Your anxiety to help others yeah, that's right. And your consideration of other people's wishes have earned you many friends. And it says here, your lucky numbers 1, 10, 7, 9, 23, 2. Very funny. Out of like all of this huge, large deck of cards, you guys have received a similar card to Pal 1. This is wild. What else, Spirit? What is another piece of fortune that you have for Pal 2? Okay, we have multiple cards here. I'm just going to keep the one on top. And it says here, you are highly empathetic and can easily put yourself in another's shoes, sometimes to a fault. Your empathy often leads you to develop the compassion to help. This is a great quality to have, but too often you put the needs of others before your own. Interesting. Learn to protect your energy. Remember that you do not need to set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. Interesting. So, and it says here your lucky numbers 8, 14, 26, 36, 40, 49. So interesting, because with this card as well of the owl that really spoke about like talkativeness, not being able to like keep a secret or whatnot. And now this card here talking about like empathy. I just like get this vibe like many of you guys may somewhat be pulled in. Drama might not be the right word, but maybe like that you feel pulled into other people's dilemmas or problems or affairs lately. Maybe that a lot of people share things with you or call you first in order to sort of get the tea on the situation. And maybe that you get many different versions right now of a situation, and maybe that sometimes other people's problems sort of like slip into your life and they sort of become your own problem. And what's crazy is that it didn't even start with you. It's just that now it's a problem just because of how like emotionally involved other people made you feel, maybe. So this could definitely be something to watch out for at this stage and chapter of you guys' life right now. Maybe that this is why Spirit is sort of like bringing those cards to your awareness right now, those sort of messages to your awareness, should I say. Okay, so let's jump now into the theme of you guys' reading. Let's see. Spirit, what do you want to talk about for Pal 2? What's the theme of their reading today? We have here the card of surprise. Ooh, okay. Any upcoming surprise maybe? Any upcoming blessing that is unexpected on the horizon for pile 2? I guess that this is what Spirit wants to talk about right now. Let's see what this could concern more clearly, like more specifically for you guys. Where does this energy of surprise is hitting my pile 2? We have, ooh, le pendu. We have the Hangman. Interesting, because right away the energy that this is giving to me is some sort of like karmic blessing. I'm saying that because a hangman is someone that had to endure a lot of setbacks, a lot of trials, and also a lot of suffering. Like the hangman is someone that is basically learning to surrender to the place where they find themselves at on a journey right now. They're learning to surrender to this part of their journey because a part of them sort of knows that it's like their enlightenment or their awakening lies in that surrender, or in understanding the lesson behind everything that has been happening inside of their life, if you will. And to be in a hangman position can be sort of like challenging. It can be quite uncomfortable because it can feel like, why am I being like this, in this position, tied down against my will? Why am I being slowed down? Why does life keep interfering or bringing these stops or bringing these blocks that I need to sort of maneuver through? And, what's the lesson basically behind that, behind all that I have to endure, all that I have to go through, basically, right? And so with this energy of surprise, it seems here like you guys have been really enduring somewhere. You guys have been putting up with a lot somewhere. You guys have suffered a lot of trials and tribulation, and it wasn't all for nothing somewhere. And it seems like there's a surprise blessing that you guys have been making these sacrifices for. That it's almost like a karmic price, or it's a price, an energetic spiritual price that you guys had to pay in order to bring this pleasant surprise inside of your life. So that's sort of like the energy here that I'm sensing behind you guys' reading today. Spirit wants to talk about, wait, let me grab my deck. I feel like Spirit wants to talk to you about the fact that you guys didn't have to go through what you had to go through for nothing. There's something coming out of this. And so let's see what this could be. Spirit, how is pile 2 meant to be surprised as they are in this hanging phase, as they are in that hangman phase? What is the hidden blessing out of their situation, out of their sort of trials right now, or obstacles? We have the Knight of Pentacles. Then we have the Six of Swords. Okay. Ooh, okay, we have the Eight of Cups. And one final card, Spirit, one final card. We have Strength, and it's sort of, I don't know if I wanted to come through reverse for you guys or upright. I feel like I'm just going to keep it upright for now, just so that the essence of that card remains like untouched. Okay. Yeah, you guys definitely had to be strong and patient somewhere. You guys had to be like extra careful, extra diligent. And this is where Spirit wants to hit you with your next blessings. With the Six of Swords and Eight of Cups, this is also a surprise move here. This is a surprise progression. this is a surprise door opening inside of your life and calling you elsewhere, you guys. So I feel like it's very interesting because there's an interesting surprise here coming through, and it's totally the antithesis of this hangman here, because this hangman is sort of suspended in time, and he sort of has to do the maximum of his moment. Is the best of what I can say about this card, in the sense to where he has to learn to live more in the moment, if you will. And he has to sort of accept something about his situation. That's why he's in the position that he's in. But what's really interesting here is that you guys could have definitely waited or been in a waiting period or waiting phase for something to happen here. In order to be able to move somewhere or go do something. And it's something you had to be really patient about. And even this Knight of Pentacles is talking about that too, about that same sort of patience, because the Knight of Pentacles speaks about like a slow development, if you will, to where it's a bunch of little consistent efforts being placed in the same direction. And it's about, it's really about being consistent with this card, if you will. And that consistency and that patience and that care, sort of on the same level as the Strength card, is where you guys had to like be resilient lately. And I feel like prepare for things to finally advance, and that will be sort of the pleasant surprise. It's almost like as though as you guys learn to surrender, or as you guys thought that it's almost like, okay, this is it. I need to learn to sort of embrace my present moment right now, or I need to embrace the state of my situation right now. I need to make the maximum out of this. It's almost like it's as soon as you start accepting this as your new normal or as your situation, it's like, boom, this is where things unlock and you finally get to progress or move or leave. So it's really, really funny. Like, I'm getting a scenario here in my mind, so I don't know if this is like literally the case for some of you that could be here on this ball. But I feel like if you guys have been in a living situation, for instance, that has left you feeling really stuck, feeling like it was problem after problem that you guys had to deal with, and maybe you had to sort of be in those financial sacrifices, if you will, if you had to like really invest in some sort of path as well, instead of some sort of road. It could be also work related for some of you. But I'm also getting like, like living situation, and it could also, concern a relationship too. Like, I feel like your cards are open here. They're not necessarily like closed off to like one area of your life or the other. Your cards are more so talking to me here about like movement coming as a pleasant surprise after like a period where you felt kind of stuck, where you felt it's like, you really had to put water in your wine here, and you really needed to be that bigger person, and you needed to really like be consistent somewhere, and really just be in that strength as a virtue, because strength is a virtue card. And I find this really interesting that those two characters here, not only on the Six of Swords, but on the Eight of Cups, they're turning their back against us. So it's almost as though you guys couldn't wait to get your go to move somewhere next, or somewhere new, or somewhere other than where you are at right now. So take that as literally or as metaphorically as it could like seem. Maybe too that, this message at the beginning about like your empathy sort of like making you tied up and mixed and mingled in other people's affair, that could also be the Hangman, This could also be the sort of delays that you guys have experienced in a sense. And also with the Strength card, almost like being in that diplomatic like phase of your life where it's like you had a lot of these lions to deal with around you. You had like a lot of situations of crisis around you that happened that didn't necessarily regard you directly, but it's almost like it put an alt on your own development here, or on your own capacity to be able to turn your back and finally move forward and move in peace, away from this. And it's like, okay, finally we can progress from there, right? Finally, it's like we're not stuck in a past anymore. We can get this working together. And it's like there's a sort of like harmony back again. And so it's like we can leave this in the past, basically, is what this energy to me feels like here. So prepare, I would say for you, Baozi, prepare for kind of like unexpected movement, unexpected breakthroughs, unexpected developments, if you will, things advancing and progressing, coming as a surprise in situations right now, or in a dynamic in your life right now that you think is a bit stale, or that you thought wouldn't progress from there, or it's like you weren't receiving any news maybe, or it was kind of like on ice for now, is what this feels like with the Hangman. And it's like, it's so weird, because it's like, as you guys had to learn to be really chill and cool with your present moment, really learning to ground through that with strength, Knight of Pentacles, and a Hangman, and really sort of like releasing, right? Hangman is that too. It's like about releasing expectations, releasing the illusion of time. It's like releasing the unnecessary suffering as well that causes resistance towards what is the reality right now. It's like, in order to move forward, we need to first come to accept our present as our reality. Like, that's one of the first key towards moving forward in a lot of situations in life. And it's like your cards, they really make me think of that. And I don't know if you guys felt tied back or tied down by someone in your life that required or demanded a lot of strength from you, that sort of leaned on you, that you maybe had to help or support in some way inside of your life. But I feel like something is being taken care of here as a pleasant surprise, and you guys can finally move forward and turn your back on this with peace. And not like turn your back in a sense to where you abandon the situation or you leave something behind permanently, unless this is what you're looking for, unless this is what you want, to finally be free of this situation here with the Hangman. But to me, it more so feels like you guys have been wanting to be freed spiritually, energetically, emotionally from this. Like, you want to feel like it's no longer your situation to take care of. You want to feel like finally this is in the hand of the universe, and I don't have to be in that strength position always. I don't have to be so strong for everyone around me anymore, but now I can take care of me. Oh my God. Okay, this is what it is, you guys. Even on the Six of Swords, like, do you see like how this person is bringing those people here, those I always call this card like my migrant card almost, because it really feels like refugees that are like escaping a situation. This is supposed to represent trees like in the background, but to me it always looked like bombs dropping for some reason. I don't know if it's my dark brain, maybe I'm too dark here, but it always sort of looked like that. And so I always imagine this card as sort of like people being refugees, like escaping, a war-torn land and wanting to go towards safety and towards a new life where it's going to be tranquil, and where they get to be free, where they get to live and start over again, if you will. And so it's really interesting. Maybe you guys have been in the position of this person here that is bringing these other people there to safety, and maybe that this has been slowing you down somewhere in your own life, because you were so busy taking care of other people, taking care of this situation. I felt like there's pleasant karmic blessings and surprises coming out of this though, you guys. Like, I really feel like taking care of someone else or something else just out of the kindness of your own heart has sort of like pitched in inside of your karmic bank in some way, like for some interesting reason. And it's like, I cannot really explain why, but it's almost like as you did what you thought was correct in that moment, and as you did what you thought was honorous, chivalrous, with this Knight of Pentacles, like this is my values, you know, to be like that. So I'm gonna act in this way, or I'm going to do this. This is how you guys sort of like have stacked like this blessing of peace now, to where it's like, wow, I can finally take care of me now. But not only do I get to take care of me, but I get to be in peace mentally, energetically, and I have my blessings safe and taken care of for me almost, you know, and which wouldn't have happened if you would have just like escaped that situation, let's say, or just like abandoned it and left it per se, you know, which is what feels different with this reading for me today. So let's pull from my journey oracle. I don't know why I feel called to this oracle deck somehow for you guys. Spirit, what are some other messages that you have for Palsu about their journey right now? About any other pleasant surprises or blessings? Look at this, you guys. Release. This is you being released or being freed from having to be so strong, from having to carry a situation from beginning to finish, from like crisis into safety. Like this is, wow, I feel like you guys have been like the rescuer somewhere, or you guys have been like the anchor within the situation. And it's like you're finally being released from your duties here, or you're being released from that sense of like responsibility. But I don't know why I feel like you guys couldn't escape that fate for some reason. Or if you would have escaped it, it would have turned the situation completely different. I don't know why, but I feel like the dime would have been like the face of the dime would have been completely different if you guys would have just like gotten up and left and not really handled this situation with the patience and the grace that you did and the acceptance that you did, and just like, you know what, I'm gonna show up for this, and I'm going to like sort of excuse me for the expression, I'm gonna man up for this. Like I'm going to own this in a sense, you know. What else, Spirit? What other pleasant blessing or surprise? I feel like this is enough from this deck. I'm going to pull from another deck because the cards won't come out. And I know that when they won't come out, nothing else is meant for from that deck in a sense. Spirit, what interesting surprise or karmic blessing is on the way for having passed this challenge and this trial for Palsu? We have here family. Oh my God. This could definitely relate to family and the way you guys needed to get involved maybe in taking care either of a parent, of a grandparent, of a child maybe. I'm not sure what this could be. Maybe not some of you have been taking care of a child that is not even your child even. Like maybe you're an aunt or an uncle. Maybe you've been taking care a lot of your nephew or your niece or something like that. I'm not sure, but I feel like there's a lot of sacrifices lately that you guys have done, and you have done so for your family and for your loved ones. And I feel like this release energy is not just reaching you guys specifically and personally, but it's also reaching your loved ones. It's like your blessings, they're not just going to like touch you, but they're meant to also touch the people closest to you for some reason. It's like even your family or the rest of your family will benefit from what you've done here, or from like that energy you've given and pitched in, you know, from the role you've played, from the responsibilities here you've carried in silence, you know, and those those nights where you needed to like swallow a lot of your own suffering and sort of like keep it quiet, or sort of, you know, like try to support your own self in the best way that you could. My God. And I feel like it's the era for you guys to be supported next now and to be held. And we have here animals. Interesting. It could even be surrounding a pet, even with strength, you know. Strength is like taking care of the lion here. So maybe that you guys have been, oh my God, maybe that some of you guys have been releasing a pet or taking care of a pet that you needed to release at some point. Or I don't know, there's something about that here, about you being in a caretaker sort of energy. Maybe that you guys take care of people or of animals a lot, like in your daily, maybe it's your work, maybe it's your job. I'm not even sure, but it doesn't feel like a normal job here though. It really feels like something you guys felt called to do, and it's very empathic. It's coming out of your own heart here. Maybe too that if this is concerning a family member that you guys had to release, there could also be the arrival of a new pet in the family as well. This could even be that you guys have a pet that sort of makes you think of someone in the family that's passed on or something like that, because I'm just looking at the dove here behind on this picture. Maybe that you had someone in a family or a parent that was sick that you guys had to release even. I really don't know what it is, but it feels like a farewell. And it feels like the surprise blessing here might also be the expansion of your family, or a new pet or a new child. You know, just like someone new coming inside of the family. And it's not even to compensate or replace what you guys had to walk away from or release inside of your life, but it's just coming in as a pleasant surprise, just to say that, hey, you know what? Like, this is something new to look forward to. This is something new to get excited about. And you guys deserve this, you know? And you deserve that, just that moment to like gather back with your unit, with your community, with your family, to sort of celebrate that. And you guys deserve to have good moments, you know, again, after like everything that you guys had to go through here. So it really feels like that to me. So I don't know if it's going to resonate for you, Pal2, but this is all that I have for you today. So thank you so very much for having tuned in to my channel and for hanging out with me and my cards. It was an absolute honor and pleasure to read for you again. And I hope to see you soon in the next video as well. If some of you have been wanting to work with me one-on-one, the links to my Etsy store and to my official website will be all down below in the description box. So you can look at this for yourself if you want to book like a private reading or anything else like that. And otherwise, I wish you a beautiful rest of your day, okay? Mwah. Bye bye, guys. Hello, Pal3, and welcome to your mystery reading. So how this is going to go today is pretty simple. I'm basically just hanging out with you guys and pulling cards and flowing. So I will start by pulling some Zoltar cards just to get like some miscellaneous sort of fortunes for you guys. Just to get started as a little appetizer. And then after that, I'll pull an oracle card from my Gypsy Oracle deck just to get a overall overarching theme for your reading. And then after that, we'll narrow that theme to see where it's sort of applying in your life by pulling a major arcana card. And then after that, I'll be pulling some more cards, pulling from a tarot deck. And if I feel the need to pull from one of like the oracle decks in my collection, I will do so, because my library of decks is right next to me. So yeah, let's get started with you guys. See what's going on, okay? Pal3. Spirit, connect me to the energy of Pal3 and share with me any fortune that you have for them at this time of their path or journey. Okay, we have one here and we have a second one there. So let's see what flew out for you guys. We have here, do you like to lie in bed just to rest your sleepy head? That's okay for a day or two, but as a habit, 'twill never do. If you don't want to have too many regrets in your life, get up early, get there first, and success will come to you instead of the next fellow. You have a very pleasant disposition and know how to make the most out of it. Life for you hasn't been too easy, but I foresee a turn of events that will give you a great deal of happiness. When opportunity comes, grab it and don't let it slip through your fingers. Interesting. And it says here your lucky numbers are 9, 15, 28, 24, 13, 45. So maybe you guys watch out for these numbers. And here we have walk your troubles away. Okay, your fortune. If you are in a bad mood, go for a walk. If you are still in a bad mood, go for a walk. Okay, you have been feeling overwhelmed lately, like you are running laps on a hamster wheel of life. Sometimes the simplest tools for relief are the most effective. Even just a 50-minute walk can do wonders for your mood. As you walk, you'll find that even in the darkest moments, the path to clarity and calm is just a few steps away. And it says here, your lucky numbers are 14, 28, 42, 55, 67, 81. So one thing that I haven't told you guys before drawing your cards is that as I was preparing to film this pile, and by the way, very important to state this, but this is also before I lit up this incense stick over there, okay? But I sort of felt like smoke in the room for some reason. I had like a bit of trouble to breathe and I was just like coughing. And it was like a weird thing. Like I'm filming this pile on a different day than the other piles, by the way. I've lit some incense on like each pile, but this was before I even sat down and did that little prep for you guys. And I just like felt like smoke in my lungs for some reason. And because I was like, oh wait, I'm about to film a pile, so maybe this means something, So then I maybe interpreted that as maybe some of you guys are like feeling like you're on a bit of a chokehold lately, or maybe that you feel like you're stifled somewhere, or like you're kind of like maybe like you're kind of restrained or are choking somewhere, or it could even be more literal than that. Maybe that some of you smoke a lot and have been like smoking a lot more lately, maybe because of what's going on in your life. I'm not sure. And maybe that you're noticing that this has been like starting to affect you. Maybe that some of you are just like, you know what, maybe I should start dropping down on the smoking, or maybe it doesn't do that much good for me. Maybe I need to be more careful. So I don't know. I just felt like saying it on this ball, just in case for some of you it might ring a bell, or in case some of you have been like thinking about checking that out with your health and stuff like that, or if it's like a more metaphorical thing, maybe the cards will tell. But there's something here a little bit about procrastination with this card, and then a need to move more, a need to sort of get some movement going. So it could be just like a blue flag for some of you that have been thinking about like including some more movement in your practice, or maybe like including just like some fresh air into your habits a little bit more. If you guys have been sort of needing to get going somewhere, but you don't know where to start and you feel very overwhelmed, which is usually a sign of anxiety. When that happens, just be careful that you guys are not going too hard on the self-soothing, self-medicating part of the struggle, if you will, if you can resonate with that. But let's see what's the theme for your reading today, guys. Spirit, what is the theme for pile 3? We have a child. Ooh. Oh, so that could be a thing too. Like if some of you are looking to get pregnant, or suspect you might be pregnant, or have gotten pregnant lately, maybe that this is a thing in your mind, like I want to stop smoking now. Or it could be like other things, like, okay, I want to stop drinking, or okay, I want to stop, like, I want to start having better health habits or just habits in general with myself, because I know that in my life I'm about to welcome a new little life form now. So it's not just about me anymore, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be on top of my health, or I want to be on top of I want to be in the highest version of myself that I can be for what I'm bringing into the world, or what I am bringing on the table maybe. So whether this is literal or metaphorical, but definitely there could be a child in you guys' energy for those of you that have been wanting that or working towards that, creating a lot of room in your life for that. Otherwise, child is just talking to me about something you're meant to take under your wing for some reason. Something you're meant to be the parent of, Pile 3. Something that is of your responsibility to do, which is very interesting because this card was sort of alluding to that here, where it says like, you want to stay in bed, but it's not a way of life. Like in the sense to where if you want something to change in life, then you gotta be the change. You gotta, get out of bed and try to create something, try to do something about it in a sense. And when I think about a child, I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about like something being under you guys' responsibility now. And to where if you want this sphere of your life or this part of your life to change, then you guys starting to realize that then you gotta be about the change. And that could have been something that has really been in your mind lately, you guys. It's really funny because I was just talking about this in the bed this morning with my husband. He's been having, I think it's like, crisis of the 30 years old. Like he's a bit younger than me. I'm 32, but he's about to be 30 next month. And it's really funny because we were talking about this together, like how like when you hit your 30s is for a lot of people, it brings a sort of crisis inside of your life, because it's almost like it's then that you start realizing that life is not going to just magically sort itself out for you, right? Which I wish it was to be the case, but not always, huh? And if we want a change, then we gotta be about the change, right? And I feel like your 30s or any sphere of life, basically any major shift inside of your life, like a child coming inside of your life, right? That's a big milestone too. That's a big sort of life change and transformation that can bring about those types of questions too, of like, hey, I didn't think I would be there, in my life amongst this part of my journey at this stage of life. I didn't know that this is how I would feel, or that this is what would be my priority, or that this is how I would look at my life, or that this is where I would be. Maybe I thought that I would be further along, or maybe that I thought that I would be completely elsewhere psychologically, financially, emotionally, and my life in general. And there's this energy with your cards, you guys, to where like, even if it's not like a physical child that some of you are necessarily bringing in, there's still this energy of crisis here of like, am I living up to my ultimate potential right now? Because for the things that I'm trying to bring in, or that are coming in, or that are happening in my life right now, I thought that my life would somehow be a bit different at this stage. So it's interesting, but I'm having this sort of questioning coming up with you guys' energy. Spirit, where is that theme hitting Pile 3's life? Can we narrow this down or get some context on this child card, please? We have here, look at this, you guys. The Wheel of Fortune. This is, wow, this is something I've said in Pile 1 too. I saw a visual of the Wheel of Fortune before I started making those mystery readings. And actually the Wheel of Fortune appearing in my visions, because I asked my spirit guides what should be the topic of this next pick a card, since it's been a while, right? That I didn't do a pick a card on YouTube. And I had a visual in my mind's eye of like the Wheel of Fortune. And this is where I sort of like picked up on this fact that many people collectively, maybe it's a collective energy, or maybe it's just a community vibe, like, because we are the Madame Liz Tarot channel, we are like a macro community in the cosmic reality of things. We are a micro community that is a part of a macro community. So I just felt like there was this energy of powerful change and shifts coming in for a lot of us, for a lot of you guys. And that is why I felt like keeping, you know, the thread open today and just seeing what was going to come through, because I was like, oh, okay, I feel like multiple people are at these different stages of life and the needs feel different from like group of people to group of people. And Wheel of Fortune again confirms to me that you guys are on the brink of a massive life chapter change, to where it's like, okay, there is no going back right now. And again, you could take this child as literally or as metaphorically as it applies to you. I feel like for some of you, you could definitely be becoming a first-time parent, and that could be like, you know, turning your whole life upside down, maybe because this was a surprise or something you didn't expect to come at this point or at this time or at this stage of your life. Maybe you guys weren't necessarily prepared for it. But then I also think that for a lot of you guys that are not necessarily bringing new children into this world, this is just like a metaphorical way of saying like, you guys are going through like a massive important turn of events, to where it's like your life cannot be the same moving forward. And there are some things that need to change, and you guys know that things won't be the same. You cannot just sustain the same lifestyle you've been going through for like the last, you know, cycle, the last year, or even the last 5 years, or even the last decade. Like you guys could be shifting decade too. Like maybe that your birthday is approaching soon, and you're approaching like your 40s, or you're approaching your 50s, or, you know, something like that. It feels like an important life milestone or life transition that some of you are about to go through. And it's like it brings those questions of, who am I at the other side of this? I don't know. Who will I transform to be? I don't know, because I've always known my life to be a certain way. But now that I have this child, or now that I have this big change coming in, it's like I have to figure out who I am amongst this new phase or this new life circumstance. I have to figure out, who am I, you know? Even if I have to be in this role of the parent, or even if I am, now that I am older, or now that I don't have this job anymore, let's say, or now that my studies are over, and now that I'm ready to get in the field and I'm ready to start my life for real. So you guys are turning the page here. You guys are turning the page on something massive. And you've got to trust where things are headed now. Funny, the Knight of Pentacles has come out in all of the piles today. This could be another collective energy, this Knight of Pentacles. Just us really being more serious about where we're going in our life, where we want to progress at in the future, where we want our life to go. Because when I think of the Knights, I think about an approach, I think about a system, I think about a strategy on how we will confront the challenges that are ahead, or how we will sort of conquer our life, because Knights are conquerors, literally. And so the Page of Pentacles is a very slow, careful mover, and that's because he knows that the stakes are high. And that what he's got in his hand is a real pentacle. It's a real, tangible, precious item that he needs to not drop down and not break. And he's in charge. He's responsible for that pentacle. And there's that sense of like heavy duty attached to that. This sense of like importancy, more than urgency than with most other Knights. So again, there's really this zooming out here from the present, if you guys have been living more in the present, living more in the moment, I feel like there's a zooming out from that. And there's a zooming in more on the long term and on a more serious big picture of your future. And so there's big questions here around you guys, around my pal threes of like, what do I want my legacy to be? What do I want to build in the next 5 years? Where do I want to be at the next 10 years of my life? Because I feel like where I'm heading now, it's like there's no going back. Things will keep progressing, and it's like we're not getting any younger. Okay. That's something that I was talking about too with my husband, in a sense. You know, you get hit with this reality one day that, okay, we're not getting any younger right now. It's not going to like go into a better and better and better situation necessarily, but life is cyclical, right? Life is those cycles. Life is not linear, but at the same time, it's like, again, if we want things to change, then we gotta be about the change. And I feel like the Knight of Pentacles is definitely a good way for you guys to be in that transformation energy. This is way too much cards, so I'm not gonna keep those, but we have the High Priestess that flip for you guys. Let's see what else is coming through. We have the Fool reverse. Look at this. I don't want to be a fool anymore. In the sense that I just heard that with this card, in the sense that you guys are moving out of a phase of your life where it was more experimental, where it was more about exploration, where you guys didn't know where you were going necessarily, didn't necessarily have a plan B either, especially with the High Priestess right next, because the High Priestess is really, really intuitive. And I feel like there's a change now in terms of how you guys are living your intuitive guidance, or there's a different type of like wisdom that you guys are opening up to at this stage of your life now, that is making you feel a lot less naive all of a sudden, or that is sort of, it's very odd. I keep going back to that conversation, but again, it's that impression here of like, okay, I know what my mom meant now when she told me this when I was like a teenager, when I was like 16, 17 years old, let's say. And I thought it was so annoying back at the time. And today I kind of understand her, and I kind of feel like it's a part of the truth. You see what I mean? I'm getting that sort of vibe with you guys' cards, to where it's like, let me throw like a very random example, okay? Let's say that you guys growing up have always been told that you should start a savings account at that age earlier on, because then it's going to help you out for later. It's almost like you guys could have hit those lessons lately, or have been hit with those sort of like wiser downloads lately with a High Priestess of, oh, I know now what my mom meant. I thought it was so annoying when she was trying to control the ways that I would make some financial decisions, or judge me for my financial decisions when I was younger. But now I realize that actually she was just trying to protect me, and actually she was just trying to prepare me for the world. And now I just use like a mom example here, maybe because of this child energy, but you guys apply it how you see it fit. But there's this like change of season, you guys. You guys are not moving from this full, like naive, young, sort of trying to figure out the ropes of things state anymore. But you know what, you guys, this is just part of evolving, especially with the High Priestess. Don't worry, you guys don't worry, okay, with this Fool reverse, if you feel lately like it's harder to find your fun, or to find like your humor, or to find the light-hearted part of you, like before, where you could have been very carefree about certain things in life, or really in the moment and really chill about certain things in life, it's like today there could be almost this change, this shift, or this reversal to where it's becoming a priority or it's becoming important to you, and it never used to necessarily be in the past. And it could come with those questions of, oh my God, am I becoming boring? Am I becoming a real adult right now? Am I becoming a version of myself that I swear in my life I would try to not become? And I feel like, no, it's not you guys becoming a version that of, or embracing a lifestyle that is not yours, that you don't want to be. This is not you losing connection with your inner child necessarily either. This is not you becoming jaded, but this is just that your life lessons and your higher downloads, again with this High Priestess, is now in this other sphere of life. And it's now about being the example, being more careful, being a bit more prepared, pragmatic, protective. And it's very interesting. Again, you guys could definitely become new moms, especially with the Queen of Cups. Do you see there's even a baby in the water there? The child, again, I just feel this mother-parent energy about you guys, to where it's like, okay, well, now I am the parent, so now I have to take account for all these little things for the person I feel responsible for my child, Or it's almost like, again, that same example, how like moms used to tell us, you will understand once you become a mother yourself. I remember that when my mom used to tell me that, it was so frustrating. And today I don't have kids of my own, at least for now. And I don't know if I ever will, but if I ever do, I know that my experience might transform and become different, because suddenly I won't see my family from the lens of being a child anymore and being the child, but I will see it from the lens of me being the parent now, and me being responsible, me having to set out the example, or me having to collect the pieces of this fool here that might hurt themselves or that might like fall off the cliff. And it's like, it's me that is responsible for that, and that have to account for those things. So it's like we see things different, right, when we become a parent. And I feel like I understand what my mom meant, because although I'm not a mother now in my life, I'm still at this stage and at this point where my parents are now older, and now there's a lot of questions coming to me of, I need to be prepared to take care of my own parents. And I'm already taking care of my father, and my mom had to go through surgery lately, and so she was very vulnerable and very physically weak, so I had to do some stuff to help her around. And now I see this from that lens too. Even though I'm not a biological mother yet, I still feel like now I'm in that reversal of role, to where at some point you become older and you almost become the parents to your own parents, which is an interesting experiment to go through, but we will all go through there at some point. And some things and mentalities and beliefs and how I used to see things, like my perspectives have changed from this, like totally. And I feel like this is that stage for you guys right now, to where it's like, maybe you're not a parent yourself, but you're in a position similar as me, to where, my parents are older now, and I feel like I have to be the mother of my mother, or I have to be the father of my father. I have to be the parent, or I have to be the figure of responsibility for my own parents. Maybe it's with someone that you deeply care about, like a spouse even, maybe your spouse is going through a period of their life where it's like they lost their job, or they are in that full stage of like trying to figure out their life, trying to reorientate themselves in their life, and maybe they are in a vulnerable place financially and emotionally or psychologically. And maybe that you guys have to be in this Queen of Cups and High Priestess sort of role here of being like the emotional fort, the emotional fort keeper, and kind of being that person that this other person goes to in order to feel nurtured and to feel listened to, and in order to feel like, you know what, I've got your back and let's do this together, and I empathize with you, I sympathize with you, and I feel what you feel, and I'm there for you. It's my turn to be there for you. That's really what I'm getting with this Queen of Cups. It's my turn to be there for you. So I don't know where you guys feel this way right now in your life, but there's something really beautiful and really spiritually, I don't like to use this word like elevating. It's not like you're elevating above other people. That's not what I mean, but there's something very spiritually evolutive about embracing this Queen of Cups quality or role right now inside of your life. So let's see anything else that may be coming through for you guys, my Pile 3. Any final words or messages for Pile 3 Spirit? We have flow. Yeah, this is really this High Priestess and Queen of Cups. You guys, I feel like you guys are worried about losing your flow, actually. Losing like the part of you that used to be innocent and connected to life in a different way, but you're not losing your connection, you guys. If there's anything, that connection is increasing and it's about to deepen. And I feel like Spirit is saying here, embrace the flow of what is coming next. Don't be so closed off to think that the best is behind you guys, or that to have like this sort, don't fall into that nostalgic feeling, okay, you guys, that we can sort of fall into sometimes when we start like reminiscing on the parts to where we were the child or we were the one taken care of, because there's something magical, beautiful, and truly transformative in being that person for other people and being that person that creates Christmas now for other people. You know, there's something so nostalgic that I miss about the Christmas time in my own childhood. And I realized growing up that it's because my mom was Christmas. My mom made Christmas. My mom gave herself so much to like decorate the home in that perfect way, and to you know, like to bring in all of those thoughtful, caring gifts to me and my sister, and to prepare the table for the guests, and to all of those like beautiful, gorgeous meals for everyone, and making sure everyone was being taken care of. And I feel like today there's something beautiful and magical in that legacy she left me, because now I can think of myself as Santa Claus and bring that same energy to other people when it is Christmas, you know? So this is just like an example here and a metaphor again, but you guys are becoming Santa Claus somewhere. You guys are in that responsibility of bringing the magic, bringing the flow, and putting into practice everything that you've learned until now, you guys. And there's something so beautiful in being that, don't you think? Don't you think? I feel like there's another level to your spiritual development and to your priestesshood, even if you're a man, okay? That is about that, you guys. That is about that. About this next phase to where it's like roles are reversed now. You're the one that withholds the traditions now. You're the one that is the wisdom keeper now. What will you do with that new reality, you know? And it's something overwhelming. It's something a little bit stressful, but I guarantee you guys that there's something absolutely healing and beautiful, and that like I've healed by taking care of my father in ways I wish I would be taken care of if I was a parent and I was sick now and I was frail and fragile and my child was in my life. How I wish my child could be there for me. I try to do that for my father, even if it's hard, because my father, anyway, long story short, but basically my father hasn't always been able to be in a position of being the father I wish he was, for sure, for me. But to be able to give that and to be able to do that, seriously, weirdly, has been super healing for me. And I used to harbor a lot of frustrations about that, which is whack, you know? I used to harbor a lot of frustrations about like, I need to be in that place now where I take care of this person that hasn't probably taken care of me in my childhood. But today it's like I see it from another lens, because it's just like, well, let's stop thinking about me and let's start thinking about like who I am as a person, what my values are, and what legacy I want to leave here as a person. And then I came to this conclusion that I want to be a kind person. You know, I came to this conclusion that I want to be someone that is patient, understanding, and compassionate. And from there, I started to flow into that new sphere of my life, that new phase that was so wildly different than when it was me in the position of being a child. And I just feel like you guys are in a very similar chapter. See, enlightenment. Again, there's so much enlightenment for you guys in switching into that new phase and that new sphere. I feel like you guys will love it. I feel like you guys will learn to appreciate this transition, this new phase, and maybe that you guys may look at it even from a better angle, like this is even better than before. Like I used to reminisce about like my childhood when it was like when times were simpler, more carefree, where it wasn't as stressful. And it's like today I realized this is actually the best decade of my life. This is actually the decade of my life where I get to relax. This is actually the decade of my life where I actually get to like experience, to apply those lessons and be a teacher for other people, or be in this like soft era here. And I actually love it. So you guys, this is what I see for you. I don't know if it will turn out to make sense, but I feel like it's really beautiful, really transformative what you're on the brink of. And I thank you so much for hanging out with me in my space today. I got emotional while making this reading. It got kind of personal at some point. But I hope you guys will resonate with that it will help you in some way. And otherwise, I hope you'll tune in for the next pick a card reading. If you guys have been interested in working one-on-one with me too, and the links to my Etsy shop and website will be down below in the description box. And otherwise, I wish you all a beautiful rest of your day. Mwah. Bye bye, guys. Hello, pal 4, and welcome to your reading, my final pal today. Welcome, you guys. Welcome to your mystery reading. So how this is going to go today is pretty simple. I'm going to start by drawing some Zoltar Speaks cards for you guys, just to get some like random miscellaneous pieces of fortune. And then after that, I'm going to draw a oracle card from my Gypsy Oracle deck in order to get the theme of your reading. Then after that, we'll narrow it down and get some more specific information about your reading by pulling in a major arcana card. And then after that, finally, I'm going to like pull some tarot cards for you. And also, if I feel the need to pull a deck, an oracle deck from my collection, I will do so, because I have my library of decks right next to me. So I don't have a clear specific plan for this reading today. I just want to show up and basically vibe with you all. So if you guys are down for it, let's get started. Spirit, connect me to pal 4 and share with me what's the fortune you have for them. Okay, we actually have 2 cards here. I feel like keeping them both for you. I feel like both of these are yours because I wanted 2 to begin with anyway, so it's perfect. So this one says, you're judged by what you do, not by what you say. Talk is cheap. Actions are the true measure of someone's character. Align your deeds with your high-minded words, and your metal will shine. If your actions are noble and pure, your nature will be obvious to all. No words will be necessary. Embrace the power of integrity. It is a cornerstone of trust and authenticity. Deeds, not talk, earn admiration and respect. Remember, however, that this works both ways. A bad deed will follow you forever, and no amount of words can undo the damage it does to how you are perceived. Consider your actions carefully beforehand and move forward with your plans ready to make your words reality and your dreams come true. Okay. And it says here, your lucky numbers are 31, 29, 60, 56, 94, and 37. So maybe you guys want to watch out for these numbers. Maybe they have a significance for you in your life, a significance, sorry. Then your honor fortune, it says here, you will soon find yourself in a hairy predicament. Approach the situation with grace and clarity. See this as an opportunity to seek truth and justice. Let the cosmic current guide your actions and decisions. Your moral compass will be your guide, leading you down the path of integrity and fairness. Interesting. You guys have 2 cards that speak about that, about integrity. So it must sort of connect to something in your life here. And it says here, steel yourself. The courtroom of life is a place where both challenges and unexpected revelations may surface. Meet both with calm, steady expression. It's fine to feel anxious, but unwise to show it. This is not the time to feel nervous and guilty. Find support from loved ones and their guidance. Tell the truth. Honor your oaths. Wow. Okay. And it says your lucky numbers are 62, 31, 45, 82, 47, and 5. Interesting, you guys. So where in your life do you feel you're being asked to move with more integrity and truth? Because both of your cards are really talking about that. And I found that very confrontative when this card says here, wait, where it's at. It really got me thinking. When it said, it's fine to feel anxious, but unwise to show it. Like, it's something that got me thinking here. I wonder what else will come through. But you guys, this is a time Spirit is really alighting here for you, a different kind of approach in your life to where you guys have to really show up in integrity with who you are and really just be honest and truthful, especially if there are some sort of like problems that you're witnessing inside of your life. Because I'm just seeing like these characters here that are after this. Like, this is no time to sort of engage in fakery or to pretend anymore. And that's what I'm getting from the get-go for you guys. Let's see what will be the theme of your reading. Spirit, what is the overarching theme of Pile 4's reading? What do you want to talk about with them today? What do you want to talk about with Pile 4? We have Messenger. Okay. Maybe an upcoming message, any upcoming news, any upcoming text that you guys could be receiving soon. Also, Messenger is talking to me. It makes me think about like the universe answering to some sort of request you guys had, or to something you guys have prayed for, asked for, something you've thought about, something you've said. Maybe this is making me think of a response, basically. The world is about to respond to you. Let's see in which ways. Spirit, what is the major arcana card or energy that could narrow down this messenger card? Where is that hitting them inside of their life, Spirit? This message being sent by the universe, where is it hitting them? Wheel of Fortune again. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, guys? This was in the last reading as well. This was also in the first reading. I said to the other piles that also received this card that before I started making this reading, basically what inspired this reading is the Wheel of Fortune. Like, I had a vision from my spirit guides that everybody was kind of everywhere at different places all at once, and the needs were sort of like mismatching and different for everyone. And this is why I felt called to do like a random reading where we see what messages we can pull off for everyone, and see what's the theme for everyone. But basically, I saw the Wheel of Fortune too as a sign that maybe there were some big shifts and changes coming in here for a lot of people who would tune in to the spell, and maybe that you guys have been sensing that coming in as well. Especially with like messenger, that speaks of a return, that speaks of your answers, that speaks of your prayers being basically answered. That speaks of your questions being answered as well. That speaks of a comeback in terms of communication and things like that. I feel like there could be big developments for you guys coming in next surrounding this messenger card. Surrounding anyone that may be seeking to contact you or to want to talk to you, that want to answer a message that they may have left unread even for a long time. This could even be a return of communication from someone you thought was out of your life at this point. Like for some of you, maybe that this is someone you've blocked, or even that blocked you at some point, and maybe they're going to reinitiate communication, or maybe that this is just as well someone you lost contact with or took your distance from. And there could also be some sort of communication returning for when it comes to that. So I'm really curious now to see what this is actually about. Spirit, connect me to Pile 4 and share with me what is the communication returning about for Pile 4. I feel like this is a theme for you guys' reading today. What is the message returning all about? There is a 10 of Swords situation here. Again, I thought that this was a brutal ending that would remain that way or remain untouched. I got so hurt from this, or I got so brutalized from this, and I thought that this was over, and apparently it is not. That's what I'm getting from this card here. When I think I was in the bottom, or that things couldn't get worse, boom, something returns. So be very careful, Pile 4, thinking that things are over somewhere with something or with someone. We have the 5 of Swords reversed. This could concern a situation that really ended in a big conflict. And 5 of Swords, someone has said some hurtful things here. Is this you, Pile 4? Very interesting, because it said here, I think it was this card, right? When it said like you cannot undo the damage it does, or something like that. Wait, what does it say here? No words will be necessary. Embrace the power of integrity. Deeds, not talk, or earn admiration and respect. A bad deed will follow you forever, and no amount of words can undo the damage it does to how you are perceived. Exactly. Do you guys regret the way you've ended something with someone, with a job, with a work, somewhere in your life? Do you guys regret the ways that you exited a certain conversation or a certain problem? Do you guys feel like you said maybe some things you shouldn't have said? Or are you hanging out? Are you hanging on the words that have been said here more than the deeds or the actions behind those words or something like that? I feel like words have been used here to either try to cut you, my Pile 4, or you somewhere have used words to sort of weaponize someone inside of a situation, but it was kind of like to try to defend yourself in the spot. But retroactively, like looking back, you guys could realize that you've been a bit too far, maybe somewhere. And I feel like if you do realize that, that's because you guys are basically have access to such a level of deep self-awareness that many people, I feel like most people just discard the opportunity to access that because it's harder. Because that type of self-awareness is basically asking for accountability. It's basically asking for a level of responsibility to where it's not just about like taking back the words that were said, but also showing in action or making some sort of effort, making some sort of action that can sort of counter the effect or power that they had. And I feel like you guys have a power with words. Oh my God. I don't know if you guys have like a scorpionic level. Like it almost makes me think of like a Scorpio, or it almost makes me think of an Aries too, someone Mars dominated. It almost makes me think as well of like air signs like Geminis, Aquarians, like how these kinds of people can withhold so much the receipt of what they perceive, or they can like, they're really observant signs. So they observe what's going on and they take in a lot of the little details and little things that they see. And it's like when it's time for the volcano to explode, sometimes it all comes out at once and it comes out super hurtful. Taurus too can be that way. But there is something here about like I feel like you guys, when you are angry, it's like your mental can take you to that cruel place to where it's like there is no mercy there anymore and there's no space for negotiation anymore. And it's like, I will forget almost that we were friends, or I will forget that we had that history together once I get to that point, But at the same time, you guys, the way why you can get to that point is actually because you have that really strong warrior side. And also, it's almost like you have a strong discernment that is very cutthroat and that allows you to really reject the bullshit that you see. And when you're taken to a certain point, it's like there's a fuse that you can access. And once you turn it on, it's like it takes you far into places to where sometimes you can get scared of the things you can say, or how far you can take things. Or it's like sometimes you can get like, again, a bit too far and forget to reel yourself back in. I'm not sure what it is, but I feel like you guys can really, that you can really cut with your words. And I feel like you guys very often prefer to remove yourself out of situations than to maybe say something you might regret later on, or then to completely destroy another person, because you guys know that you can get there if someone pushes you there, But then also there's this sentiment here of like, I feel like the way that things ended might have been my fault, or again, if it's not your fault, if it's someone else's that said things that you're really hooked on to, it's almost like maybe that spirit is asking you here to almost like also observe what actions were made inside of that relationship too, like not just the words that were spoken, but actually what did that relationship like meant for you in general, Because sometimes we can forget when we are in the middle of a debate, or in the middle of a misunderstanding, or when we are in the middle of a conflict of interest or a conflict of opinions, we can sometimes forget that actually that relationship matters more for me than being right actually at this time, And maybe it's worth more to concentrate on that relationship and concentrate on the commonalities, or in where we do get along, or in where we can work our differences out together, than to lose that relationship just over that type of argument. If you see what I mean? Like some battles are just not worth their fight. Some battles are not worth necessarily winning because it leaves you feeling with a bitter taste in your mouth. And that to me is totally the Five of Swords reverse. It's almost like, okay, I won that argument or that debate, or I got my last word here, but then at what price, And was that price too high with the Ten of Swords? Because I'm still suffering from this. I'm still hooked onto why things had to end the way that they have ended. So we have the Five of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, you guys have lost more, or somebody here has lost more from their words and from that last conversation, or how things ended. And we have the moon. The moon is not knowing how to deal with all of that, not knowing how to progress forward or how to advance, or needing clarity, just being in that fog ever since, just feeling like there are so many things that have also been left unspoken, that have been left unsaid, even though it's almost like we argued over that thing, but we forgot what we were even arguing about at some point. It's like we almost forgot the real challenge or the real problem at the core of this, which maybe didn't have anything to do with what was said at that moment. It's just that we were angry at that point, or we were not able to ground ourselves. So it's like now I'm just left with this fog. I'm just left in limbo basically with the moon. I'm just left to figure out pieces and collecting the pieces of how I feel about this. You guys, there's been a lot of uncertainty or insecurity surrounding this ending here, or this last conversation, or the last message here that was sent. It's like it created more confusion in your life than it created boundary, that it created clarity. It's like you guys are more on the loser side, and it's all about the way that something was being left here. And I feel like with the moon, it's uncertain if you can go back to a situation, or if things can get back together, or if things can get salvaged from there from now on. But what's really odd is that yes it can, and yes it will. Wheel of Fortune, Messenger. I feel like you guys, there's some things that have been left unsaid here within the situation that you guys need to clear the fog or the air around. And I feel like it's just some problems of miscommunications or misunderstandings here that have really left you and another person in the losing side of a situation. Five of Pentacles, nobody is winning here in a Five of Pentacles, nor in a Five of Swords reversed. That's what's so powerful to me about your two cards number 5 here being reversed, is that nobody is winning in this situation and how it's being left at this point. So this is why I feel like two people or two parties are open to solve this, or are open to communicate about this again, to maybe try to do it better, or to have another shot at doing it differently this time. And yeah, I feel like we need to toss aside this Ten of Swords here. If we stay in that Ten of Swords situation for too long, it's like we won't be able to move forward with that Wheel of Fortune here. Things won't be able to progress, to develop, to evolve. Wheel of Fortune is really that. Wheel of Fortune is saying this is just a phase, okay? This is just like we're at the bottom of the cycle here with the Ten of Swords, but we could be on top. So whenever I see a Wheel of Fortune like card coming out in a reading, I know a situation is never fixed, and it's meant to progress, and it's not meant to remain like in that frozen situation for too long. And I feel that the way that you guys can do that is about clear communication, man. Like literally reinitiating that messaging here. And if it's better to do it via a text or via writing than it is to do with words, do so. But at the same time, I also feel like there's a real need here for a real physical conversation and warmth, to where we can touch each other's hands, okay, or be in each other's proximity and look at each other in our eyes, because that changes everything. Every sort of miscommunication or misunderstandings will get cleared off by a physical, warm basically conversation about this, where we can clear our weird underlying subconscious feelings and vibes, the unspoken vibes we've been getting from this with the Moon card that are creating these scenarios inside of our heads. Like Moon card, it's really about that, huh? And especially with these Swords cards, be careful about that, you guys. And pile 4, be careful to assume that you know how someone really thought or what they really like meant, in that point in time, be careful to assume that, because with the moon card, sometimes what we think of a situation or how we perceive things, it creates shadows. And that's the whole story behind the moon card, by the way, is that moon only comes out at night, and it like casts this light on certain things, but it places shadow on other things. And so it's very, with this card, it's always important to clear the fog as soon as possible. As soon as possible, because otherwise we can almost fall into the trap of our own delusions. And with the moon card, the scenarios we start creating in our mind, the fears we start creating in our mind, it starts escalating. And sometimes it's like the reality is not even there yet. We're just creating that with our own mind, okay? So it's like, where are you guys creating like these issues inside of your mind right now surrounding a person? Where are you guys escalating the conflict to where it's like it might not even be what you think, you guys? And I feel like you guys need to clear that, because it more than likely concerns a person that is more important to you, and that you guys from your end and this person's end have more to lose from keeping things that way, like in that 10 of Swords way, where you're just butthurt, both of you guys, and nothing gets to progress or nothing gets sorted, than to basically approach it from this moon card stance to where it's like, you know what, I haven't figured out why I feel the way that I feel completely yet, but here is how I feel, and I want to know, you know, how you felt, and let's share our feelings, because the moon is really that. It's like, I feel something and it's hard to explain. Maybe there's no words to explain how I feel. And maybe that this is why 5 of Swords reverse and 10 of Swords, there's been some miscommunication or hurtful conversations where things just spilled, or someone just like broke the elastic here. Someone just like snatched. And it's like that person was just in that irritated mood because they thought you knew, or they thought the other person knew what they meant at that point. But it's like, it's not written in your face, you know? So that's why something needs to be more clear here. We need to talk about this from an emotional standpoint, to where we're not just there to like defend our argument, but we share some sort of vulnerability here with each other with a moon card. Okay, let's see here. Okay, Spirit, connect me to pile 4 and share with me any other messages that you have for them today. So what are you communicating or failing to communicate? Spirit has this question for you today, pile 4. This is really important in your reading somehow. We have here recurring dream. Do you see how this snake is intertwining in this girl's head and in her hair? You guys could be doing nightmares because of this, because there's something, oh my God. Maybe that there's something you guys have been sensing since the beginning and you didn't say it. And you need to get it out of your chest. You need to get it out of your mind for some reason. Messenger again, like there's something you guys need to talk about. And you need to clear your mind off from this. DOA, see, you guys are escaping something here. You guys are trying to run away from like that potential reconfrontation, basically, like, because the last time that it happened, it left you feeling in that 10 of Swords situation. It left you feeling depleted. It left you feeling like a dead end. Nothing was going nowhere. And it left you feeling more hurt too than appeased. But I feel that it's because that last conversation was more so from a standpoint to where it was about defending your position than trying to solve the situation. And I feel that this is where things will be different now, to where if you guys both want to approach this from the place where you want to solve this because this is important for you, this is going to be a totally different vibe. And you'll feel so much better. Oh my God, Balfour, you'll feel relieved. Flying, see? You'll feel relieved. Like finally, this is not like a burden and a weight on you, keeping you down anymore. And family, it's like you're alleviated from this whole situation. Oh my God, you deserve to be free from this here. And it is coming. Spirit is opening that door or channel for you to be able to have a second shot at that communication path. For if you want to basically close the buckle and have a second chance in a way to where you're not going to regret it anymore. You guys, vulnerability is the key towards understanding. It's the key towards solving so many misunderstandings and conflicts. And the moon card is so much like, I feel like we miss a big key of this card when we forget to talk about it in that way. Because again, like I was explaining, the moon is about everything that we can feel or sense, but it's not tangible. It's not concrete, right? It's like an undercurrent. So it's hard to place it into words because it's not like someone told you necessarily like, fuck you, you know? And it's like, it's evident then that you can pick a fight with this person because it's evident what they meant in that situation. But sometimes it's not always clear like that. Sometimes it's like some words or some things can hurt us so deeply. And it's just a question of vibe and how we felt. And this is our problem. See, that's the thing. If we feel that way, if we feel tormented by what we think and we don't have closure on it, we don't have a sense of resolution on how we feel, and we don't know if it's true and based on real legit information or if it's just our personal impression, it's just going to create these scenarios inside of our mind where someone like meant something in a certain way, or someone dislikes us, or someone tried to like hurt us, when chances are maybe they weren't even trying to. Maybe they were just too caught up in their own experience to even like notice that you were suffering from your end here. And I feel like it's important to not leave these pieces in the fog, to never leave these pieces in our subconscious that build in that resentment, especially if this is concerning someone that meant something important for you, someone that you want to keep around, someone that is like a strong bond in your life. Like that is not worth it, you guys. Like I don't care what kind of spiritual person what it can tell you out there of like, oh yeah, if this person doesn't understand you, like leave that relationship behind. Anyway, they're not good for you. You outgrew them, babe. Like, I don't freaking care about like what kind of person could like bring that narrative inside of your mind. Like, to me personally, that is not worth it. Like when someone is really, really important inside of our heart or soul or spirit or mind, if they've been there inside of your life for quite some time, it's because they mean something, man. And it's like, as long as they're not willingly trying to hurt you, there's no way that it's not worth it to try to solve that sort of problem here. And it's like you'll sleep better at night, and also you get to like deepen that connection if there's anything, if there's anything. But it's really important to tell other people how we feel and to also give them the room to tell us how they feel without seeking to escape that, it's so important. Like, oh my God, I feel like in my life, there are so many times where I couldn't take the truth of the people that I love because I thought it would like leave me in a 10 of swords situation where I wouldn't be able to get up because I will feel way too guilty of having made them feel that way, because I so did not intend to like be cruel or to make it across a certain way, right? And it's like, yeah, but at the same time, if I always escape the rough conversations or these rough places where I need to receive that other person's truth, it's like I'm not offering them the love and the care that they deserve, and the people that we love, they deserve that we hear them too, don't they? And same for you, Panfor, same for you. You deserve to be listened to. And the people that love you, it's hard to receive the truth. It's really hard sometimes. sometimes, but it is necessary. You know, in order for love to thrive, it needs to be rooted in integrity. It cannot exist within a lie. It cannot exist within fakery. It cannot exist within pretension. Real love, it exists at a place where truth and vulnerability merge together. And we cannot have any sort of walls when we do that, because the walls, they don't create that bridge to where we can solve the problem. It just creates more disparities. So you guys, moon card, okay? Be vulnerable, open your heart, touch someone's hand, you know, look at them in the eyes. Don't run away. It's difficult. It's difficult to receive a difficult message, what we need to hear, right? Sometimes it's difficult to receive the truth sometimes. But it's what clears, and it's what heals, and it's what can make us move forward and progress in that situation. And that's what I feel so strongly for you, Balfour. So I don't know if this reading will be helpful. It's kind of like your prep talk almost before something a bit uncomfortable here is what this feels like to me. But you know what? I'm like here for you. I root for you. I got your back. Okay? And I send you so much love. I send you the bubble of protection that you may need for this. You're able to do this. Okay, you can do this. And it is worth it to do this, a lot more so than try to run away from this. Let me tell you for sure, because then you delay that Ten of Swords, you drag it along, and that creates those unnecessary, untrue scenarios where you're trying to get your own self mad here, or give yourself reasons to stay in that Ten of Swords, like sad or defeated mode, or, you know, oppressed victim mode. And it's like, it's not even real sometimes, you know? So anyway, I send you guys so much love. And yeah, change of subject completely. If you guys have been wanting to work with me one-on-one, the links to my Etsy store and website will be down below in the description box. And otherwise, I hope you will tune in for the next pick a card. It's always fun to make these for you guys. But have a beautiful rest of your day. Mwah. Bye-bye.